I am very, very happy. I thank God that he kept them safe. The houses and the destruction are not a problem. The important thing is that they stayed alive, thank God. We will live in a tent. The important thing is that they are alive. Separation is hard and the waiting is harder. My granddaughter was only 2 years old when she left. Maybe she's forgotten me, because there was no internet or anything to communicate with her.
I was waiting for 15 months to leave the south. My family, my sisters, my family, everything. Our houses are all here in the north. I regret the day I left the north for the south. I was waiting to return night after night, hour by hour.
Google Maps will change the name of the Gulf of Mexico to Gulf of America once it's officially updated in the US Geographic Name System. That's according to a Monday post on X from Google. The change will be visible for US users, but the name will remain Gulf of Mexico in Mexico. Outside of the two countries, users will see both names on Google Maps. US President Donald Trump ordered the name change as part of a flurry of executive actions hours after taking office last week, making good on a campaign promise.
America will reclaim its rightful place as the greatest, most powerful, most respected nation on earth, inspiring the awe and admiration of the entire world. A short time from now, we are going to be changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America.
The Trump administration's Interior Department officially changed the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America on Friday. Mexicans Reuters spoke to on the Gulf Coast rejected Trump's bid to rename it last week.
Honestly, it's wrong, because the Gulf of Mexico will always be the Gulf of Mexico. That's the way it is, and it doesn't need to change.
Google has applied the same locale-based labeling conventions to other locations subject to geographical naming disputes.
An Italian Navy ship carrying 49 migrants picked up in international waters arrived in Albania on Tuesday. According to a Reuters witness, the Navy ship Cassiopeia reached Shengin, a coastal town in Albania. It was part of a new attempt by Italy to push ahead with a legally contested plan to relocate migrants to the neighboring country. Migrants will be identified at a facility and then moved to a detention center. The Italian government has built 2 reception centers in Albania. It is the first such deal by a European Union nation to divert migrants to a non-EU country to limit sea arrivals to its territory. But the facilities have been empty since November. Italian judges questioned the validity of the relocation plan and ordered the first 2 batches of migrants previously detained in Albania to be moved back to Italy. The controversy surrounding the plan revolves around a ruling by the European Court of Justice last year, which was not related to Italy. The court said no nation of origin could be considered safe if even just a part of it was dangerous. That undermined Rome's idea of deporting migrants to Albania who hailed from a government-drafted list of safe countries with a view to swiftly repatriating them. The European Court is set to review Italy's plan in the coming weeks and clarify whether it is in compliance with EU law.
The return of supersonic air travel just might have come a step closer.
There we are. XB-1 is supersonic, faster than the speed of sound.
US startup Boom Supersonic sent its XB-1 jet through the sound barrier on Tuesday. It says the test flight over the Mojave Desert marked the first time any privately funded plane has hit the landmark speed. Legendary pilot Chuck Yeager was the first human to exceed the sound barrier back in 1947. Such speeds have since become routine for many military aircraft. But supersonic travel hasn't been on offer to airline passengers for some 2 decades. That is, since the Anglo-French Concorde was retired in 2003. Its success was limited by high operating costs that made tickets very expensive. Now Boom has plans to develop a successor. Dubbed Overture, it's meant to carry up to 80 passengers across the Atlantic in about 3.5 hours. That's roughly half the time taken by a regular jet. Company CEO Blake Scholl says regulations are now the main stumbling block.
Today we have one of the silliest rules in the world, which is you can't fly supersonic over land, no matter how quiet the airplane is. And so we're picking up where Concorde left off. Initially, we'll fly right under the speed of sound over land, which is still 20% faster than a Boeing or Airbus. And over the water, we'll open up the throttles and go twice as fast.
Boom hopes those regulations will change and says Overture will be much more economical to operate than Concorde. The firm has completed construction on a factory for the new plane in Greensboro, North Carolina. It says it has 130 orders and expressions of interest from American Airlines, United Airlines and Japan Airlines. But years of research and development still lie ahead before any passenger boards a supersonic flight.
Among the remote desert hills of northern Chile lies the aptly named Extremely Large Telescope. The project, about 60% complete, is planned as one of the most capable astronomical observatories ever assembled. It's intended to search for evidence of potential life on planets beyond our solar system and take a glimpse back in time at the universe's earliest stars and galaxies. The over $1.5 billion telescope is a project of the European Southern Observatory, an intergovernmental research organization. It's situated in the middle of the arid Atacama Desert, considered one of the best places on Earth for astronomy. Itziar de Gregario is an astrophysicist and the ESO's representative in Chile.
Va a impactar en prácticamente todas las áreas de la astronomía.
It will impact practically all areas of astronomy. We will be able to see how the first galaxies, the first stars were formed at the beginning of the universe. We will be able to see in great detail and characterize the stars and other galaxies, and above all, we will be able to make great strides in understanding the worlds around other stars.
These boxes contain precisely engineered mirrors, which are due to be assembled into one giant one. The telescope's primary mirror will be made up of 798 pieces and measure about 130 feet. Tobias Muller manages the assembly.
152 segment assemblies already fully processed and ready to be installed on the telescope now, and we did it in less than 1 year. I mean, this is a major challenge.
The telescope is expected to be the largest optical infrared facility in the world for decades. Its first scientific observations are expected by the end of 2028.